su2020. It's me, John Walsh. What's up? Okay, sorry for the delay on this, but this is probably, arguably the most important lecture of the entire semester that you guys are coming up on being done with. So congratulations, awesome. Last week, so we're talking about financial planning this week, all right, today. And this is something that your parents are very, very astute on, but you should get involved with them about their financial planning and find out where they stand so that you know, because there is this whole caregiving thing that we talked about it. If they're not set up for financial planning, then you need to do some financial planning on your own and adjust your lifestyle accordingly. So it's a great topic for the interview paper with your parents and grandparents as well. And it's also out of the blocks. A lot of you guys are Marshall School majors. It's a huge job opportunity when you graduate from college to get in to become a money manager or financial planner, become a fiduciary, right? Very cool. Alrighty. Just to remind you, okay, what do we got going on? You can always do the extra credit, right? Why not? And right in here, the midterm, all right? So this is scheduled, so don't forget you have to do this, okay? It's opening today, due on Friday, all right? Just, the drill. You open it up, and then you open up in another browser, and you scroll around to get the answers if you haven't learned it already. It's pretty straightforward stuff. You should be able to kick butt on it, okay? What else do we have coming up? Okay, so we have the paper, right? Like I said, this topic today is so crucial in terms of your interview. Get out your phone, please, okay, and tape your interview with your parent or grandparent so that this will be part of your family's culture that you'll be able to pass on to your great grandchildren, all right? So don't miss out on this opportunity for sure. All right, here we go. Weekly assignments, okay? Again, you should be applauded about the extent of your new knowledge. All this information that you have learned, all these topics are going to be very helpful for you and as an individual, also guiding family members and friends, okay? Alrighty, so here we are, retirement planning, Social Security. Okay, we're going to talk about the ins and outs again. We already touched base on this last time. We're going to get a little bit more specific here, okay? And then some of the investment strategies, okay? Working for a good company that has a 401k, okay? This is awesome, all right? If you don't work for a company that has a 401k, you have what are called retirement accounts, individual retirement accounts, Roth IRAs, okay? Other financial planning strategies, annuities that we refer to, not highly recommended, but for some people that are a little bit of risk averse, I guess you could do it, but there's a lot of money you pay up front for those things, okay? Alrighty, and then this is for 413B is a tool for people that work for government agencies and have a pension. My video is going to go right here, my lecture, okay, just to keep you abreast, all right, so again, this is all about your first job if you're a Marshall student, okay, and this should really be in your wheelhouse, okay. This stuff you should be aware of, okay. All right, so I always like to start with a little bit of shock and awe statistics, okay. This is from a 2018 study, so it's relatively recent. And so we're looking at people that are 50 to 55 years of age. Okay, we're going to look at the median. This will be stacked up every single 50 to 55-year-old in the United States with the people that have the least amount of a retirement account savings they put away to the people that have the absolute most, the billionaires. Okay, right, line them all up. Okay, and then we just count them and we get to the very middle, the median. And we say, all right, 50 to 55-year-old guy, okay, and guy or girl, okay, we'll just, euphemistically guy means everybody because that's just my culture. How much do you have saved in a retirement account? $8,000. That should scare you. That should scare you, okay? If we bring them back all together again, okay, and we look between 56 and 61, did I scare you that first time? Not a whole lot. So the median is $17,000, right? That is really not much money now, is it? Some people say, well, I got Social Security, okay? Again, if we look at the average Social Security benefit, okay, it's, $1,400 a month a little over $1,700 a year. That's poverty. Okay, this is a societal issue that you're going to have to grapple with. Okay, because it's only going to get worse. There's only going to be more people. Our government is getting more and more strapped. We don't know what's going to happen with Social Security, Medicare, and hopefully it's going to hang in there. But right now, the best thing you can do is save and look out for you and your family. That's what this assignment's all about. All right. So we're going to talk about the investment tools, these different strategies. Okay. Um, these things are all what are called tax deferred. Okay. So it reduces my taxable income. Okay. So that it lowers my tax bracket. So let's say I made $250,000 and I invest annually, 20,000. Okay. Then it's reduced my taxable income by that much and put me in the lower tax bracket, so that 200,000 that I had is going to be taxed at a lower level. And then the money I put away, when I spend it when I'm 75, my spending habits are going to be really reduced, and it's going to be taxed at an even lower level. And that's kind of how you beat the system. That's what tax deferred is all about. All right, so large companies have what are called 401ks. Okay, if you work for a government agency, you're going to get a pension, but they also have these programs that you can invest money on your own called the 401(b). All right. If you are self-employed, then you have the opportunity to do what's called an individual retirement account or an IRA. Okay. And if you make a far less amount of money, the government wants you to do what's called a Roth IRA. And the great thing about these is you pay because they get your money now. Okay, so that you pay on a Roth IRA your taxes on the money, and then it gets put into this investment account. And then when you pull out when you're 70, it doesn't get taxed. Okay. So the best thing you do on this is when you're not making a whole lot of money, like when you're in your 20s, to invest in Roth IRAs. Okay, because your taxable income could be so low, you could be in a taxable rate of 15% versus a taxable rate of 30%. Okay, so this is a recommended strategy. All right, for young investors like you guys. All righty. There is a thing called an annuity, and these are for people that are kind of risk averse. It gives you guaranteed income, but you have to give the money upfront to an insurance company. They invest it elsewhere. Then they guarantee a return on that investment. Okay, of a set amount. These things have high fees. Okay, you have to look. Sometimes they have it even right into it that they will take the money and you don't get it back, so you don't get to pass it on to your beneficiaries. It just depends on the annuity. So they're pretty risky, and you got to be very, very careful. But a lot of money is made on the front end and continually by the money managers, the investment counselors. So they will push these upon you. Okay. My soapbox to you guys, okay, is you're all technologically savvy, every one of you. Open up. My challenge is open up a Fidelity account today, or open up a Vanguard account today. It's like playing a video game. It's so fun. You can assign your own risk. You can decide what your maturation date would be on your investments. You choose your mutual funds or index funds. Okay. Maybe it'll be tech heavy, maybe manufacturing based. Whatever it is. Okay. Clothing companies. You choose it. Okay. And then you watch it grow, and then you can buy and sell. I mean, it's and it's done pretty easily. And the cool thing about it is you're not paying. You pay a minimal of fees. You're just paying the fee for their website instead of a fee for somebody doing it for you. Okay, so you don't have to hire a money manager, investment strategist, investment counselor. You can do it on your own. Okay. That being said, some people are very, very tech aversive, and that's where for some of you that right out of college can get jobs with these different companies that do this, and you provide your tech services to people that can't figure it out. Okay. All righty. So that's kind of the background. All right. So the most important thing you can do out of the blocks is delay Social Security if you can. And we talked about that last week. All righty. So if you've worked for 35 years minimum, okay, your maximum Social Security benefit is a little over $3,000 a month. if you, we're going to go, I want you to go in here. I'm not going to go to these websites. You go in here. You'll see with these calculators that if you retire early, then that benefit, it gets reduced. There's an actuarial table that statisticians put together that look at how long the government's going to pay you versus how long you're expected to live. Um, well, if you're going to retire earlier, if you're going to live longer, we're going to pay you less. However, if you keep working and you delay your Social Security, okay, we're going to basically reward you by paying you more because you're going to start Social Security at 70. In the meantime, the government gets to use that money they would have paid you to do whatever they want, right? So it's just, it's business planning basically, right? So I kind of lay it all out here, all righty? So if I delay to age 70 instead of retiring at 67, my benefit's going to go up by 30% to almost $4 grand a month. Awesome. Okay. Let's look alternatively down here. Okay. Let's say I'm burned out and I decide I'm going to retire at age 62. My Social Security benefit, as you see here, is reduced by 30%. Okay. And it's all figured out. There is an algorithm. Okay. In terms of the early retirement age you choose, if that's the rate you go, it's reduced by 0.591% for every month before that normal retirement age. Okay, so yeah, they're keeping track of you. All righty. Again, don't forget, you just go the other way. Okay, and you're going to get a huge benefit. Okay, if you just delay your retirement. All right. Okay, let's look at some investment strategies. You work for a big company like IBM. Okay, Google. All right, USC. All righty. They have a 401k program. All right. So the maximum amount of my investment in 2019, okay, for my 401k, just my part, not my matching fund, just my part, is $19,500 a year. I don't pay tax. It's taken away from my taxable income. Okay, so suddenly my tax rate goes down on what's left behind. And when I spend that money when I'm 75, it'll be at a lower tax rate because I'm not going to be as big a consumer as I am now, right? So I don't have to pay a mortgage. I'm probably not going to be traveling to Fiji and stuff like that. I'm not going to be as crazy as I am now. All right, that's the strategy behind that. Okay. Now the government wants us, as we get older, to invest more money. If you're in a corporation that does this 401k, I can bump it by $6,500. It's called a catch-up fund after 50 to $26,000 a year. Right? That's just my side. Now let's take a look at my matching funds. If I have matching funds, I can bump up the amount of money I can put in annually, 57 grand a year. Awesome. Okay. And I'm going to put on top of that, okay, my $6,500 catch up. Okay. So I can go all the way up into here. I can invest $63,500 a year. Okay. That I don't get taxed on at all because part of it is from the corporation that had matched me. USC had a really, really generous one, 2-to-1. Okay. So I was talking to Olivia Farrell from your class. She says, why would a corporation do that? First of all, they're going to get the best. It's a way of recruiting the best. Okay. It's a way of retaining people so they don't move around. Right. So you get this kind of institutional memory of really good people. That's kind of the design. Okay. Plus, the reality is if you buy into putting in this amount of money, okay, you're putting this away. It is again, this is it takes away from your taxable income. What happens is when you have a corporation, you have to pay a matching Social Security tax. Okay, so I didn't pay Social Security tax on that. Neither does USC. All right, so they in reality are not paying this as much. Okay, so it's a two reasons why you would do that as a corporation. All right. So there's a Motley Fool article down here that talks about it. Okay, if you look right here, you can see how much you get in terms of compounding your money. Okay, because this, if you put it into an investment portfolio that's stocks and bonds, okay, very little money market stuff like that, it's going to make 8-10% of the year usually, and so and then every year you add to it. Okay, so If I take $500, okay, and I invest it in my 401k at age 20, um, that $500 is now $10,000, okay, when I'm at 65. So hopefully that incentivizes you a little bit to go ahead and invest, okay? Because remember, it's you make 10%, all right? So let's say I made 10% of my money here, okay? So 10% on $500 is $25. So next year it's 525. Then the next year that gets compounded, okay? On and on and on. Wasn't so quick with the math here, all right? All right, so these plans, okay, 401k is an example of something that I have defined how much I'm contributing. This is my defined contribution plan, okay? The alternative plan is if you work for a government agency, a defined pension plan, okay? This is kind of taken out of the pay. It's considered in terms of how much you're paid, okay? At least that's the idea behind it. And the big difference is all this money that I've saved up, if I die, okay, my beneficiaries, my two boys, will inherit the money. Boom. All right. So they're going to tell me, Dad, stop spending so much money, right? When you have a defined pension plan, the funds disappear when you die. All right. So that's a big, big, big difference. All right. Again, this is characteristic of public employees. Okay. Public school teachers, members of Congress, city workers, firefighters, police officers, all that kind of stuff. They can also invest in a tax exempt, a tax deferred program. Okay. And this 401(b) is for these tax exempt agencies, government agencies. Okay. And then their heirs, okay, their beneficiaries, same deal. They do inherit this plan. All right. So check these out. Please go in there and check them out. All right. Whatever you do not take your 401k and roll into an IRA. You pay so many fees up front, and then you pay annual fees that are really not worth it. All right. Big companies have teams of money managers. All right. When USC invests in Fidelity, that's a minuscule fee that we pay, and it's highly regulated. Whereas if you have a money manager, you roll in the 401k, they can just buy and sell behind the scenes, pay you ungodly fees. So it's highly not recommended. Okay. So here's an example of the differences between what you can do. Now, the individual retirement accounts, remember, that's if you don't work for a company. You're a family-owned business, okay? You have less than 100 employees, so you're going to have to set up an IRA individually, okay? All righty. So this is me, my 401k, all right? I'm less than 50. I can put this much in, plus I get that additional bump if somebody's matching me like USC is. Remember, there is the catch-up where the government wants me to invest, where I can put in an additional 6,500, getting it up to 26 grand a year just based on me alone. If you have an IRA, $6,000, that's the limit annually. All right. And we see right here that even with the catch up, an additional $1,000 was not much, it's 7 grand. All right. The Roth IRA, this is again for young people, okay, because you're not making that much money. So the difference on this is you pay the tax, boom, on the amount of money that you have, and then you invest it in its tax deferred, meaning tax free, meaning that that you pay no taxes on it when you access it when you're retired. Okay, so this is not a tax deferred account or Roth IRA. You pay tax on it now. An IRA, you defer the taxes and you pay it when you spend it when you're 70. Okay. Alrighty. In the tax, right, I put what's going on here. So this is taxed after retirement. Like I said, this is taxed at the time of investment. That's the big difference between these two. All right. What else do we have? I'm just talking about what you should invest in. Mutual funds. These are bundled stocks. They're also referred to as equities, and then bonds. And as you get older, the rule of thumb is you there's less risk in a bond. Bond is a loan, whereas a stock is part of ownership of the company. Company starts to tank, then you tank with it. Okay, there's a little more insurance with the bond because the companies also are insured to pay back bonds. Okay, alrighty. This is another one that's kind of like a mutual fund, an exchange traded fund. It's a little more modern, a little more fun to play with. Okay, All right, so just you go through. There's different. There's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, that's an example of a mutual fund. Nasdaq. That's a technology concentrated index fund or kind of mutual fund. Right. So this is how you kind of guide your investments. The difference being that in a private equity, you are very high risk because you're investing in an individual stock. Let's say I take all my money and I invest in Apple. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. A mutual fund is I take all my money invested into a category that has 10,000 companies in that category. So if one company tanks, another company doesn't, on average, you're doing pretty good. Okay, so do go through all this, okay? And this is this Excel spreadsheet that I put up here. So if you click on it, you can download it, okay? All right, like I said, the annuity is the last thing. This is put out by insurance companies, okay? So it's almost the opposite of insurance, where you give them small amounts of money, okay, and then if your house burns down, then they give you a big bolus of money to replace your house, okay? With an annuity, you give them all your money, okay, and then they give you little tiny bits for the rest of your life, okay? Supposedly more guarantee, however, high fees coming in to do this and high fees annually, okay? The worst annuities that are out there, sometimes they will in fine print indicate that you give them all that money and they will give you, a lot of, a good return every month. You have a guaranteed income every month, so you don't have to worry about ups and downs in the market, all that kind of stuff. However, the fine print says, oh, by the way, when you die, we take it all, okay? These are the old school annuities. That means your children, your beneficiaries don't get the money, okay? Sometimes that's still in there, okay? So just be careful, all righty? All right. So this last article talks about being careful, right? Yeah, I mean, I was really caught up with my own life, and my mom, her money manager had her in a bunch of private equities, individual stocks. For a 90-year-old woman, that was really not savvy. Luckily, we were able to clean that whole thing up. Okay. So this is what happens. You get caught up in your own life, all right? And this particular woman just didn't see what was going on, all right? So she did not oversee her dad's brokerage account, and she got taken to the cleaners by this money manager. All righty. So read through the quiz based on what I've told you here. And this is, I want you to think about retirement planning. I want you to articulate this, okay? Think about you're saying, millennials, Gen Zs. Again, this is the graph I was talking about, okay? All right, and we're looking at, changes that happened, okay? Of course, this was, a while ago. This was, things were getting better, and then it tanked during 2013, okay? The minimal of retirement savings. We're going through another cycle like this right now with COVID-19. All right. All right, guys. So that's it. Okay. Here's more information if you want about retirement strategies. Please take a look at it if you can. Really cool stuff. And I think with that, I'm done here. Talk to your parents about investing, please. You really need to know what's going on. Just so that you can be prepared in terms of what kind of caregiving, financial caregiving you may have to give them at some point in their lives. And that's the reality of that. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go over to here. There's my beautiful wife, Julia, and peace. We'll see you guys next time.